You know that delicious Cajun food that you have at the restaurants, so at Razoo's and if you name it, any Cajun, Chapelitis used to be one of them. So what we're going to do today is a Cajun fried chicken. Then we're going to do a chicken etouffee and a shrimp etouffee. And it's not that hard, it's pretty easy. So with these easy steps, I'm going to show you how to do it. So the first thing that I'm going to do is we have shrimp, and I'm going to show it to you. I have a frozen bag of easy peel shrimp that I'm going to end up peeling and taking the tails off. It's already been cleaned, so on the back side, it's already been cleaned. We're just taking the shell that's on there off. We're going to be taking chicken. It's a Walmart brand chicken. We're going to end up cutting the breast in half. We're going to use the top part and fillet it and pound it out so it'll be evenly spread. And we're going to fry these breasts inside there. And since I don't have too many of my children that like wonderful, great tasting food, that is the reason why I'm making a chicken etouffee and a shrimp etouffee, and then I'm frying these breasts just extra. Then we're gonna make dirty rice from scratch, and that is delicious, real easy to make, doesn't take long, and this is for you at home. Okay, get ready to watch. So my first thing that I'm doing, so it's still frozen, and they're frozen like this. I've had it out a little bit to defrost. Let's run it under some warmer water. I mean, it can be room temperature. It doesn't have to be that, because the ice from the fish, it just defrosts so fast. Again, cut off the tail, and the rest of the skin just comes right off. So again, I'll show you again. The little tip right here, get it, cut it right at the tip, get your tip off, and the shell just comes right off. This one's a little bit frozen, so it's not coming off as easy. But see, it's done. These are pre-cleaned. Bottom I'll sell at Tom Thumb. Tom Thumb likes to run pretty good sales on shrimp. And then we bought a bag for $4, $2 or $8 for like 2 of them. So we ended up grabbing quite a few. And of course, I have no idea why my children don't like it, but I love it. Shrimp is one of my favorite seafoods. Lobster has to be my most favorite. This is a giant shrimp to me. Alrighty, and then I'm gonna go ahead and pause the video, and you're gonna see my next step, okay? Whenever I start preparing the chicken. So this I'm doing prep work for later on when I do cook it, and I'm getting this prepared. It doesn't take long at all. I know some of y'all are trying to get. So here we go. What I'm doing now is I'm cutting the shrimp in half. The reason why I cut the shrimp in half is that way you can get a bite for every scoop that you get. And it, because one shrimp on a spoon is just kind of a little bit too large unless you have a spoon or something like a big spoon. And so I'm trying to make it bite size. So that's what I'm doing now, is I'm cutting it in half, the shrimp. So my next step is with the chicken breast, I'll lay it out as flat as possible. And then I'll cut it towards the center. I'm doing a fillet on this chicken breast. And you want to have a sharp knife. Never use a dull knife for this, because this is the #1 way people cut themselves, is by using a dull knife. So sharpen your knife as much as possible, and it makes it easy just to cut it into a fillet, half and half. So I got 8 fillets, what I'm using for my family. I need an 8 count. And then the next thing I'm doing is dicing my chicken, the leftover chickens that I have from my fillets or my chicken etouffee. So there goes that. I'm doing this dice. So for the dirty rice, my next thing that I'm doing here is I am adding 3 cups of rice because of the size of family I have. So it's just, we're gonna start off with white rice first, because the meat, once we start off with the meat and stuff, we're gonna have the meat cooking. As a matter of fact, let me go ahead and switch this up. What we're gonna do is we're gonna cook the meat first. We're gonna add the rice to it, and all the seasoning from the meat is gonna get into the rice. Okay? So with a pot here, we're just using 80-20 ground beef. It doesn't matter. You can use 90, whichever one's in there for you. The 80-20, the reason why I like to use this one right here is because it has some fat. And the fat absorbs the seasoning, and it creates more moisture in there with the rice. Whenever you mix the rice in there with it, it's going to create that oil to keep the rice from sticking so much together. Because normally when you cook white rice, you would do 3 cups of white rice, add oil on there, mix it up so the rice won't stick together, and then you're going to add, for every cup of rice, you add 2 cups of water. So I got 3 cups of rice. I'm going to add 6 cups of water to the rice once the meat's seasoned. It's like a bean smasher to go ahead and break up my meat, my ground beef, because it just breaks it up easier in there. So, like I said, one of the things that you can add to it is Cajun seasoning. Creole, Cajun, same thing. So there's the a good one is Creole seasoning, Tony's charcoal, which is easy. Or what is really in it, there's another one, Old Bay. Old Bay to me is the best. That's just my preference. But what's in it is usually you got chili powder, you got garlic, you got onion powder, you got a little bit of comino in it. You have also some onion powder. So garlic, onion, chili powder, a little, and cayenne pepper is your main ingredients for it. After that, then you're starting to add your own flavor to it. Some people put bay leaves, some people put a little bit of oregano to it and stuff like that. It's basically, I wouldn't put all that. Not me. I'm trying to basically make it simple. I'm trying to make it for the family. I'm trying to make it for the kids to where they'll eat it too. And so if I add too much of that stuff, they're not going to eat it. So what I am going to do is use Old Bay for it on this one, because it's the best. To me, it tastes the best. So you're asking like how much I'm putting on there. So what I do is I look at the meat, okay? I spread the meat around, the ground beef, and when I spread the ground beef around, what I do is I just sprinkle it all on top of the meat, okay? To where it looks like it's been snowed with the seasoning. And that's kind of how I judge how much seasoning is in there. Then I taste it and see how it's there. The next thing we have to also add to this is some beef base. Hopefully we have beef base powder, but if you don't, then you use beef base bouillon would be fine to add to it, to the water, to get the beef flavoring to it, okay? All right, see ya. So what I'm making is a roux. It's just flour and oil.
I will talk to them.
And for all y'all out there, that's my dishwasher. Y'all need your in-house dishwasher. So when you're making a roux, what I did was 2 cups of flour and I add oil, and it becomes a little bit, I don't want it that thick like that, you know, although, I mean, it's got to be a decent consistency. It's not got to be super thick. Me, I don't like mine super thick, because what I'm doing is this is going to end up being a thickening agent anyways. So once you put the oil and the flour together, you're going to cook it until you start smelling a peanut butter flavor. I mean, smell flavor, yeah. It ain't going to taste like peanut butter, but it's going to smell like it. You're going to want to taste it if you like peanut butter like I do. So yeah, it's really tempting, but yeah, it's going to taste pretty bad. just the flour alone. But it's gonna start smelling once you start cooking it. It's gonna have a peanut butter smell to it. That's when you know it's done, your roux. Okay? And so this is gonna be added to both the sauces, the Creole sauces, which is gonna be exactly the same. So I guess, I mean, you can make one big pot of Creole sauce and then mix both of them half and half in both the pots that you're gonna put the shrimp and the chicken in, and you'll just have that mixed sauce right there already done. But yeah, that's what we're doing right now. So what I did was I browned the meat, added the rice, I got it in here cooking. So this is my dirty rice going on, and add my Creole seasoning to it, have the rice cooking, and all that seasoning is gonna get into it. Now, with rice, you just cover it, let it get to a simmer. Once you get the rice in there and all that with the meat, let it simmer. And once it's simmering, it's gonna take about 45 minutes to cook fully. And then you'll be able to tell by the ends of the rice, they start to split a little bit. So rice is a full kernel, and once it's done, all the rice starts to split on the very end. Gets a little split. And usually around 45 minutes. If you got it on high and you think it's gonna cook faster, it ain't gonna cook any faster. It's still the water's gonna run down, and the kernels are not gonna absorb all that water. So you're gonna end up burning your rice, having to add more water to it the higher you have it. Okay. At the end is when I'm gonna stir in the ground beef a little bit more. Once it starts thickening up, I may stir it once or twice. That's just so that I can get the beef to mix into the rice. Then I'm gonna cover it up and not mess with it again. You do not stir it. You stir it, you're gonna mess it up. All the sugar is gonna get released, and it's gonna become one big old glump. So stirring it once ain't gonna hurt it, but continuous stirring, yes, that's gonna make it turn into sugar, like rice water. Okay, rice cereal. So don't do that unless you're trying to make rice cereal. All right. So for the next thing that I'm doing is we talked about frying the fish, frying the chicken. I'm sorry, chicken fillets. So we already cut the fillets like I showed you, and then diced up all the chicken. So what this is 2 eggs and about a cup of milk. That's all it is inside here. Mix it up, and what the eggs does is, why do you use eggs? Well, an egg kind of helps it stick a little bit better. Some people don't use eggs, they just use milk. It's your preference. Some people don't even use milk, they just use the water. I like it because to me, it makes it crispier, it makes the crumbs stick a little bit better onto it. I mean, it works for me a little bit better. I like it more. And of course, these are the breadcrumbs, and this is any Cajun breadcrumbs. You can buy it at Walmart, any brand, work good. And it's already pre-done. That's what makes it easier. And it's fish. It actually says fish crumbs, on it and stuff. So, I mean, it may say fish, it may say chicken, whatever works for you. In fact, if you wanted to, you could throw some Kinkos in there to make it a little bit crispier. So, my plans is to drop it inside here, have some of the crumbs in here, dip it in the crumbs, and then I'm gonna fry it for a minute. Once I fry it for a little bit, I'm gonna throw it on the sheet pan, and then throw it in the oven so it could cook a little bit more. So here we go. Here's this. And sometimes you might want to just put a little bit down and do just a layer and layer it on top. That way you won't mess up your crumbs as much, because no matter what, this gets nasty. Just naturally does. There you go. Definitely wash your hands beforehand, like I did. So here we go. Here's our chicken breast. Put it in there. Get it wet. See? And then just drop it on there. Let those crumbs get on there. Now, what I like to do, I like mine extra crispy. They got that extra crispy, and what it is all we're doing is like dipping it again back inside the batter, and it'll hold some more of the seasoning on there, the fried stuff. And that's what makes it double extra crispy. So if you want yours extra crispy, or you like yours not as fried as much, just do it one time. If you don't want it as crispy, you want more of the breadcrumbs, then I would do it twice if you like it fried more. And normally industrial, I have like a big old pan. I just put enough oil just for that. I'm not worried too much about trying to fry them all at one time because I'm trying to use this as an example, but normally I would do a whole bunch. Use basic tongs. Got it fried. Get that frying working. So I'm gonna lightly fry it, and then the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stick it in the oven and let it bake the rest of the way. So why do that way? Well, I know for sure my chicken's gonna be done on the inside, even though it's even smaller than what normal, because we did it in filet style. I still rather bake it just a minute. Make sure it's completely done. And your temperature is 165 for chicken. So you have a thermometer, which we have one here in the drawer. At 135, we definitely know it's done. You're not getting nobody sick. And I'm at 165. I don't know what I'm talking about, 135. 165. I've had people do not par cook your chicken. I had an idiot chef that says that works at a country club down the road. It says it's okay to par cook it, and then as long as you quickly cool it down. That is not true. You cannot partially cook chicken. You cannot ever partially cook chicken, because you will give yourself food poisoning. You will poison the people around you. You will get them very, very sick. Salmonella builds the fastest at a temperature of 70. And it's 70 and 135 is the fastest temperature for it to build bacteria, especially chicken. And you don't do that. All right, so we're done with that, guys. And once we're done with it, just get it, put it in the oven for about 20 minutes, and you'll be good to go. All right. All right, so our next mission over here is to do the Etoufee. Get my chicken, light the pilot, let's get it on high because we're gonna grill the chicken. Okay? Grill the chicken first. Got that done. Next, get our second one going. You can do them both at the same time. And I got the shrimp going. Remember, we cut the shrimps in half. We went ahead and did it because it makes it more bite-sized. Fills it up more. I got them both. Use a little oil. I'm using olive oil. You can use whatever oil you want just to help it fry a little bit more, grill more. Don't have to. Definitely don't have to. Olive oil is good for you. Let's get it in there. And again, the seasoning, we want to get it into the want to get the seasoning inside the meat and stuff, so that when they take a bite, they have that seasoning inside there. Not only in the roux, but it's in the meat. Well, there we go. We got a little bit more of that Old Bay. Got it. Sprinkles really soft. There goes my son. He wants to be on the video too, so. Chicken being grilled. Got our shrimp. I'm doing the meat first because once I do the roux, it's basically done. Once I put the sauce in and the seasoning, it's gonna be done. And I like to use tomato sauce on mine. Don't knock it till you try it. Some people do, some people don't. Like I said, the main thing about this is making a gravy that has Cajun flavor into it. Cajun flavor. So you can just throw some, like I said, some Old Bay or some Cajun seasoning. Just try them. See which one you like better, that tastes better to you. You know, I'm not endorsing it. I'm not saying they're not paying me to do it. I just find a better flavor profile to that one because I love crawfish. I'm from down south, and we love crawfish. Man, that Old Bay's off the shelf all the time. That's the best thing I've ever tasted, besides my own when I mix my own. So, like I said, this is real quick and easy, so that you won't have to make your own seasonings. Later on, I will show you how to make the seasonings. You know, Cajun seasonings, all different types of seasonings. But as far as a quick and easy meal, we'll do it this way. You know, your shrimp is done and your chicken are done. Your shrimp is going to look white. See? That would be cooked. That would be raw. You can see through it. See it? And unfortunately, they're not all cooking at the same time, so I could have let the pan heat up a little bit. You want to cook it right to where it's done, because if not, what shrimp does, it gets rubbery. In the bite, when you take a bite, it's got a rubbery crunch. Whereas where it's done just right, then it's just gonna crunch down really easy and bite into it. You'll have more of the seafood flavor in it. And the shrimp is almost done. We still got that chicken going, so we're gonna have the shrimp done before we have the chicken. That is crazy. Look at that. And then my little son Josiah wants to be in the video. The cooking video. You want to stir that a little bit? Stir it back and forth. Got my little helper. And so what I'm adding to the roux when I make this, I'm going to add water. First off, I'm going to put the water in here. I'm going to add some tomato sauce. And then I'm going to add the roux to thicken it up. And what I can do is you either add the seasoning before the roux, after roux, it doesn't matter. It's going to get inside. It's going to, I would say, a little bit better to do it beforehand. You know, if you forget which step to do it, it really doesn't matter. The seasoning is going to get inside, however. Okay? So, now that the shrimp's done, we can go ahead and get started on that one. So what I'm doing, half a can of tomato sauce. Okay? No, you can leave it there for 1 second. And then I'm going to start adding water. Okay? The water is going to be our sauce, eventually. It'll be our sauce.
You want me to mix it now?
You can stir it, so. So this is going to be our sauce.
Saucy sauce.
There we go. And we got that going, and so our next one, this is going to be our sauce. We got our chicken going. And we're going to go ahead and add the seasoning to it, a little bit more seasoning to this.
To make it...
To give it the Cajun spice. Okay?
Mix it.
Yeah, you can mix it. So, okay, I did say it didn't matter which way you did it, but you're gonna have to bring the water to a boil first. Then we add the roux because what this is, because it's gonna make lumps if we don't do that. So we have to bring the water to a boil. And you can just let it sit now, baby, because it's got to thicken up to it. It's got to start boiling. See how it's heating it up? It's almost there. It's almost there. And if you ask me how much water to put in there, I couldn't give you an exact amount. No, you're like that's this many cups, that's that many cups. But you know what I do is I get it to where it barely covers all the meat and stuff like that.
Yeah, barely.
Yeah, where it covers the meat, because in fact you might want to do a little bit more than that, because then the roux's going to thicken up and you want some gap between that so they get the flavors of the sauce.
You see that scissor around it, like going like right there? That means it's in there. Like that little scissor right there.
Yeah, let's just let it.
You see that little scissor?
A little bit more in there.
That's hot.
And that's it. Now we're gonna add to this one right here.
Dada, you see that scissor?
Yep. Add my sauce, my tomato sauce. Now I pick up the can, I put it in there, rinse out the water, because I get all the tomato sauce that's in there.
Cause you need all the tomato sauce that is in
Alright.
there. And make it to taste like it should. Right, Dad?
The extra flavor, so.
What?
My little chef, guys.
Now,
And I got Cajun seasoning in it.
can I do it on this one?
And here we go. So, what's gonna happen is once I add this to the roux, it's gonna lighten up. It's gonna get a very light color, and I like it darker. So, what I am going to do is
Look at that.
add a little bit more chili powder to mine.
I don't think they can see.
Sorry. Add a little bit more chili powder
Look at that shrimp.
to mine. And the next thing is paprika.
Mix it.
Let's see
Mix
here.
it.
And smoked paprika is the best one. Doesn't matter what kind you get.
Now, do you want me to mix it now?
Yeah, you can stir it just a little bit. Let me put some more of this paprika. So I'm getting it red. My sauce, I want it kind of a redder color. Paprika, really not too much of a flavor, but a little small smoky flavor. Little small. Chili powder. Yeah, you're gonna get that chili flavor, that Cajun flavor. I got it, baby. Okay, so now we have this one starting to bubble. So now I'm gonna start adding some of my roux in. And what I do is, when I do the roux, remember that we made it earlier. I stick it and I use a wire whisk, because what I'm doing is I'm stirring it into here. And because of the boiling, what it's doing is it's cooking now. It's gonna start thickening up into a sauce.
And it makes it good. Right?
All right, give me 1 second, son. Let me see this, because I gotta stir with this.
I can try.
And you can see, as you can see, it went from water
Two. Boil.
to a thick sauce already. If you see that, see? I like mine thicker than that. You know what I'm saying? A little bit thicker. I like it a thick kind of gravy. Because I like it on my dirty rice, and I just don't want it to be like water. Watch out, son, because I don't want it to spill and it's boiling now. So I don't want it to, I don't want it the sauce just to dredge everything. I like my thicker. See, look at that. There you go. See that right there? Now that is basically a thick gravy. Is what I've turned that into.
We like thick gravy.
All right, so this one's done. And that's how quick it is. See how quick that was? That's how quick it was.
What? Shrimp?
Just making the sauce right there.
For the shrimp?
And so what we're gonna do is now we're gonna taste it, and then now all you have to do is just season it to taste. Okay. So you remember I was telling you the Old Bay, you put so much in there. Okay. So now I can go in there and taste it. Like, okay, I need to add a little bit more. I need it seasoned a little bit thicker. So you can continue to add from there on onto it. So this is what it's gonna look like first, and that's what it's gonna turn into. Okay.
What, that?
Always taste it before you serve it. Blow on it. It's gonna be really hot.
Because if you don't taste it, then it might be bad. And they might want their money back, right, Dad?
And it's just right on point. Okay,
Right on
so
point.
you can taste all the seasoning, and if I would add anything else to it right now, the little ones would complain that it was too spicy. So I got to stop right there. Okay, so like I said, you season it to your taste.
And if you do like spicy,
Again, the chicken. Here we go. We got the chicken, and we're gonna do the same thing to the chicken if it'll ever get to boiling. We got that going. It's almost there.
can I do it a little bit?
Starting to steam up. We just gotta let it steam up some. So this one's done. This one's done. We got our chicken in the oven. So our chicken's done.
They look good.
Turn it off.
He's the best chef in the world because that's why he was on the news.
Turn it off,
For
and
a
then
barbecue competition. He won a lot of barbecue competitions
and
because he's a good cook.
this should be off. It's still going. Man, that's hot. See what it does? Once that gravy gets in there, it starts bubbling. It's ready to go. Yeah, that is good.
He's the best cook in the world. That's why he was on the news and he won a lot of times.
I got my little bragger. Thank you, son. That's enough. Can you tell he's a daddy's boy? So my next thing now is here we got this. Like I said, it's starting to steam up. It's getting there. We might be able to start adding some, but I was kind of wanting. I really don't want it to lump up, but we can try a little bit earlier.
No! Baby! Go to the back door.
All right, so we got one sauce ready. This one's starting to get there.